Children's Day is celebrated across the globe with the objective of raising awareness and calling to action towards the health, care, and education of children. Different countries have adopted different dates for this event, while the UN has declared and observes the 20th of November as the Universal Children's Day. In India, Children's Day or Bal Divas is celebrated annually on the 14th of November, which is the birth anniversary of Pandit Jawarhalal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. This date was adopted in 1964 after his demise. Pandit Nehru, fondly called Chacha Nehru or Uncle Nehru, was especially fond of children and often cited that children should be carefully and lovingly nurtured as they are the future of the nation and the citizens of tomorrow. Let's detail out the life of this beloved man. Nehru was born to a Kashmiri Pandit family in 1889 in Allahabad to Motilal Nehru and Swarupni Thusu. His father was a wealthy barrister who had served twice as the president of the Indian National Congress. Nehru left to study in Cambridge in 1907 and returned to India in 1912 and joined the Allahabad High Court. He married Kamla Kaul in 1916 and in 1917 they were blessed with their only daughter Indira. Indira was to follow her father's footsteps and became the fourth Prime Minister of India. Nehru developed an interest in politics while in England. He rallied behind Mahatma Gandhi for the Indian civil rights movements in South Africa. By the end of the First World War, his political views, influenced by Gandhi, leaned heavily towards non-cooperation and the boycott of British goods. He once ridiculed the Indian civil service, saying it was neither Indian, nor civil, nor a service. He worked closely with leaders such as Lokmanya Tilak and Annie Besant for Home Rule. In 1921, Nehru was arrested and jailed by the British on charges of anti-government activities. In 1926, he went to Europe and attended the 10th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution. He was greatly influenced and was convinced that socialism was the key to India's problems. Nehru was pivotal in internationalizing the Indian struggle for independence and represented India in the Congress of Oppressed Nations at Brussels in 1927. By 1929, Nehru assumed the presidency of the Congress Party and introduced a successful resolution demanding complete independence. The Indian Declaration of Independence on the 26th of January stated, "We believe that it is the inalienable right of the Indian people, as of any other people, to have freedom and to enjoy the fruits of their toil and have the necessities of life, so that they may have full opportunities of growth. We believe also that if any government deprives a people of these rights and oppresses them, the people have a further right to alter it or abolish it. The British government in India has not only deprived the Indian people of their freedom, but has based itself on the exploitation of the masses and has ruined India economically, politically, culturally, and spiritually. We believe, therefore, that India must sever the British connection and attain Purna Swaraj, or complete independence." In 1930, under the guidance of Mahatma Gandhi, the country entered civil disobedience, starting with the Salt March or the Dandi March against the imperialistic salt laws. Nehru, along with his father, his wife, Mahatma Gandhi, and other leaders were jailed charged with the breach of the salt laws. In any jail, he once recounted how the strange medley of Buddha, Marx, and Gandhi appealed to him. In 1935, the Government of India Act was passed. After extensive touring through the next 2 years into the hinterlands of the country, the Congress Party won the election. He was also one of the first leaders who understood that freedom for the people meant not only from the British, but also from the princely states. He sought to see an independent Republic of India. With the coming of the Second World War, the Viceroy plunged 400 million Indians into war. The Congress was conflicted. On one hand, there was fascism, while the other imperialism. The Congress wanted self-determination, an idea rejected by the British. In 1942, Gandhiji emphasized complete independence and the total withdrawal of British rule from India. He gave a short mantra, do or die. We shall either free India or die trying. On the 8th of August, the Quit India Movement resolution was passed. The entire country erupted. Nehru was jailed again. By 1945, Nehru had served 9 jail terms with a total of almost 9 years for the Indian independence struggle. Recounting this, he once said, "The years I have spent in jail sitting alone, how many seasons have I seen go by, following each other into oblivion? How many yesterdays of my youth lie buried there? And sometimes I'd see the ghosts of these dead yesterdays rise up, bringing poignant memories and whispering to me, was it worthwhile?" There is no hesitation about the answer. In August 1946, the Muslim League, under the leadership of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, launched a direct action day for a demand of an independent Pakistan, an idea that had been brewing since 1930. On the 15th of August 1947, India attained independence with a separated Pakistan. The inaugural address, titled The Tryst of Destiny, given by Nehru as the first Prime Minister of India, has been etched in the memory of every Indian.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
Nehru, the architect of modern India. Nehru came to power under the terrible circumstances of the partition, the war following it over the territory of Kashmir, and the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. On the 26th of November 1949, the Constitution of India was adopted and came into effect on the 26th of January 1950. It declared India as a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. Under the leadership of Nehru, India took significant steps towards land reforms for the empowerment of farmers and ushered in the Green Revolution starting in the early 1960s. Nehru believed that the establishment of basic and heavy industry was fundamental to the development and modernization of the Indian economy. The government therefore directly invested into key public sectors: steel, iron, coal, and power. His tenure saw the construction of the Bhakra Nangal Dam and Bokaro, Rourkela, and Bhilai steel plants. He was also instrumental in setting up the Atomic Energy Center in India. He believed an empowered India was an educated India. He set up the National Science Laboratories and premier institutes like the IITs and the IIMs. He grew India's influence abroad and maintained cordial relations with the Americans and the Soviets, while still staying non-aligned with the power blocs. He believed that apart from economic progress, a human being's quality is also determined by his cultural and spiritual progress. He encouraged the arts through the Central Arts Academy and set up the National Museum at Delhi. The 1962 Indo-Sino War was a blow to India. Apart from the casualties of war, there was a loss of faith between India and China. Nehru's health also started to deteriorate, and he passed away in 1964. The Indian newspapers echoed Nehru's own words at the time of Gandhi's assassination: "The light has gone out of our lives, and there is darkness everywhere." Nehru's will stated that his ashes be partly released into the Ganges and majorly be taken high up in the air and spread over the fields, so that he may become an indistinguishable part of India. And so, this great son of India went back to her. Children's Day is celebrated across the country with a number of cultural and social programs in schools and other institutions. Government and non government organizations distribute clothes, toys, books, and organize events for the underprivileged. Drives are carried out to educate the masses regarding the rights of children and how one may contribute to their welfare. The day is a great way to commemorate the man who lived his life serving the nation for a better tomorrow for its children. We hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel to watch more videos in this series.